Hey everyone, welcome to Thursdays at 3. Your host, Jason Crespin. Glad you guys are with us today for Thursdays at 3. We're going to have a great show. Today is Thursday, February 10th, and in my office here, and we are working away. It's going to be a great weekend of awesome things going on at the Amarillo Little Theater, and cannot wait to talk more about it. A couple of things we want to remind you about, guys, before we go to our special two guests that are blowing it out of the water over at the Adventure Space. We want to remind you, those of you who have classes today, I think today is our last day that would normally have classes over at the Adventure Space. We just want to remind you, if you have classes today for our academy, don't forget those have been moved to our main stage, the Amarillo Little Theater main stage. All of our classes pretty much this week have been over here at the main stage, so that way our space over at the Adventure Space can get fully prepared for the Cabaret experience. That light is bothering me. Let me shut that slightly. There we go. So don't forget, if you have class today, come to the main stage. You should have gotten plenty of information of where that class will be taking place. Um, Andrew Hawkins, hello, Mr. Andrew Hawkins. Glad you're watching. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. Uh, Also, I want to let everyone know that Tuck Everlasting, our academy, speaking of the academy, our academy's production of Tuck Everlasting the musical, they have started their rehearsals over at the main stage. They have already, of course, done some music rehearsals and different things like that, but they've started blocking rehearsals. The set is already starting to be built for that show and drops being painted, and super exciting for that show. It's going to be a regional premiere for ALT in the academy, which is going to be great. Oh, speaking of, there's Michaela there. Theater 2 today is in the Turk lobby. Theater 4 and Senior Company are on the stage. So if you just need a quick reminder of where you're supposed to go for class today, there's that information. Hello, Miss Tracy. Hope you're having a great day. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for tuning in to Thursdays at 3. But yeah, Tuck Everlasting. Cannot wait to find out more information about that from Miss Michaela once we wrap up this current show, and that's going to be the next big thing on our ALT main stage. Speaking of coming up down the pike, if you will, the next show, there's only 2 more shows that have auditions coming up. The next show will be for Art. This is a play over at the ALT Adventure Space. Auditions for that show are Tuesday and Wednesday. That's this coming Tuesday and Wednesday, February 15th and 16th at 7:30 p.m. Again, over at the ALT Adventure Space. This production will happen April 7th through the 16th, of course, directed by Alan Schenkels. The cool thing about this show, if you've never read this play, it's a brilliant play, Tony Award winner for Best Play, phenomenal script, but it was actually the very first play that was done at our ALT Adventure Space. In fact, Alan Schenkels starred in that show along with Bobby Schaefer and Brad McBride. So it's fitting that this is, we're celebrating our 20th year of the ALT Adventure Space. And so how about we close our 20th season over there with the show that started it all, so Art. So get a script. There's roles for 3 men. Scripts are available at our ALT box office if you're interested in auditioning. But just a reminder, auditions are Tuesday and Wednesday, the 15th and 16th. So right around the corner. Jennifer says, I feel like I just saw you. So true, Jennifer. So true. Unless you were dreaming of me. Jen, if you were dreaming, that was a good dream. That's what I'm saying. Speaking of also the next show that will be around the pike, look for more information on Monday. Monday, we will have information on our website and out and about for Shrek the Musical. That's our next big ALT main stage musical, close out our ALT season this season. We're going down to the Ogre Swampland, and it's going to be an absolutely fantastic, fun time. So look for information this coming Monday. What better Valentine's gift can I give you than information about Shrek auditions? Speaking of, don't forget Valentine's Day, Monday, in case you guys are all wrapped up in Super Bowl, I think is this weekend. Olympics are this weekend. Cabaret is this weekend. Valentine's Day. Mark a calendar. Looking ahead also, we just want to let you know that we're kind of letting the word out, making sure people are aware now that on Monday, February 21st, ALT will be closed. So if you're like, oh, I'll get that on Monday the 21st, we're taking that day off for the holiday. So just be aware that ALT's box office and pretty much ALT will be closed on Monday the 21st. I think even AISD has a holiday that day, so no classes on that day either. Speaking of other things that you can be going out and about doing, maybe you're coming to see the show, maybe you're out for Valentine's Day weekend or pre-gaming for the Super Bowl or any of those things. We always want to remind you to visit our friends over at the Royal Bar. They have a fantastic signature drink called the Fire and Ice drink. It's the cocktail right now that they have going on. That is some of the proceeds will come back to ALT. Looks like this drink has some Still Austin gin, peppermint syrup, a lot of other great things. Look at this awesome picture that they sent me. Isn't that gorgeous? So yeah, check out the Fire and Ice over at Royal Bar. Again, some of those proceeds come back to ALT, so we're very thankful for that as well. And if you have not heard, Cabaret has pretty much sold out its entire run. Of course, we started on the 4th because of that snowstorm on the 3rd. We were supposed to be closing down that Kit Kat Club on the 20th. But luckily, through our generous volunteers who are part of the show and the orchestra and the crew, we are extending the run of Cabaret. That's right. This just went up on our Facebook today. Don't tell mama, but Cabaret has extended till February 26th. That's right. We have added 2 more productions. If you have not heard about it, we've added shows on Friday, February 25th and Saturday, February 26th at 8 p.m. These are the current only shows that have tickets available. Currently, the only shows that have tickets available. So if you are in need of tickets to see the Cabaret, which you should be, give our box office a call, 806-355-9991. Visit our website, amarillo.littletheater.org. Again, these are the only shows that have tickets currently available, Friday the 25th or Saturday the 26th. You guys are in for a treat. If you don't already have tickets, give box office a call because I think those are going to go pretty quickly. And for some reason, if you don't have tickets, we'll talk about this a little bit more, but there's ways where you can get on standby lists and different things like that. And finally, before I bring on our 2 amazing actors from Cabaret, we do want to let you know that there are still some volunteer opportunities this weekend. ALT is still needing 1 concession worker for tonight, starting at 9:15, and 2 concession workers on Saturday at 3:15 for Cabaret. If you guys can lend about 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes to help out with these 2 shifts, call our box office, 806-355-9991. Let them know you can help. Give Les a call, our volunteer coordinator. I'll have that running the whole show just as a reminder, but we need your help, y'all. Okay, we're going to go ahead and bring on our 2 amazing, fantastic, brilliant, oh so fantastic. They're just all around. Not only are they talented on stage, they're also super nice. Let's bring on Dillon and Jason. Hello, how are you guys doing today?
No,
Good.
doing
How
well.
are you?
Good. It's weird to just see you guys in normal clothing without like any sort of like girls that are around you or any sort of aspects of like the show around you and you guys running back and forth backstage to your next entrance or costume change. It's just nice to see you just normal setting. Have you guys have had a good weekend or not week, I guess your week of rest, if you will?
Yeah, it's been really restful.
Good.
Eventful.
I mean,
Yeah.
just kind of work and just kind of relaxing and all those good things. Yeah. Remind us again, Jason Driver, remind us again who you play in the show.
I play the MC, who is kind of a omniscient. Is he here? Is he not? Kind of commentator guy, narrator, amongst other things. It's a great character.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And then Dillon, remind us who you play.
I play Cliff Bradshaw. He's an American writer who's visiting Berlin.
Nice. And you guys have done such a great job with the show. Of course, we've opened the show on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this past weekend. Everyone is raving about it. Of course, it sold out so quickly, and we're getting to add performances, which is saying a lot because you guys have already been in rehearsals for the past 2 months, basically, and giving up even more time. First of all, remind us, Jason, where do you when you're not at ALT, who are you? Where do you work? What's your normal kind of go-to life?
Yeah, I work at Six Car. I'm a kitchen manager / bartender, and I've dabbled in just a lot of stuff, playwriting and stuff like that. But
Yeah, you've done so many aspects of theater. I feel like it's just like every facet of theater you have had your hand in at some point.
Yeah, I've designed, I've directed, I've done just about everything I can get my hands on. So yeah, I just kind of work and fantasize about theater, and it's been so cool, like getting to actually do theater again, especially like this show with this cast at ALT. Like, yeah, it's been great.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, when was the last time you got to perform with, especially with like the pandemic and stuff like that?
The last show I did was in February of 2020. So this marks 2 years since I've been on stage, and it was The
Wow.
Liar at AC.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Which crazy to think, it was 2 years that you didn't get to, be on a stage, if you will. So it's so exciting that you are able to be a part of this show and not only be a part of it, but just kill it every single performance. Dillon, of course, for you, remind us what you do when you're not at ALT.
I'm a realtor, so I sell houses, wheeling and dealing them. Try my best.
So if you're looking, if Dillon randomly asks you if you are a homeowner or if you rent, let him know. He
Right.
might be able to help you
Shoot
out.
me a call, shoot me a text. I'll sell you a house.
I love it. I feel like you should have like gotten some of the cast of Cabaret to help sell like a house, like if you have an open house, you know what I mean? Like you open a closet and
yeah.
there's like Jason doing some sort of performance art, and then
Yeah.
like you open another closet and there's Terry who's like performing as well. Or I mean, have the Kit Kat girls work in the kitchen, and
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the open house people will
We'll
be
have to
coming.
work it out. I'll contract them out.
I feel like there's a whole now musical aspect of realty that you could kind of harness and have that market kind of secured for yourself.
Yeah.
With the show, and then Dillon, you were in a show at the time that the pandemic pretty much hit and it was canceled,
Mm-hmm.
and then got moved to the next season.
Mm-hmm.
That was, of course, The Humans. And then was that the last time you had been a part of?
Once I did.
Oh,
once.
of course, once also last season. Yeah. So a little bit of a time break for you as well with getting to perform and be back on stage for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For those people who may not know anything about what Cabaret is, how would you guys both describe the show? Of course, without giving too many spoiler alerts, but how would you, if somebody's like, I have no clue what Cabaret is about, what is it about in your words, would you say?
I'm going to let you take that first, Dillon.
Okay.
Yeah, you go first on that one.
I mean, to me, it's kind of like it's a story about a guy who's trying to find himself. He's exploring the world, and then there's a bunch of other characters that come along. I feel like the audience relates to my character a lot just because I'm like the only American in the show. So, they kind of laugh with me and they get the jokes that I get.
Sure. So. Well, and you're the outsider
Right.
coming in, and that's what the audience is as well. They're the ones that are foreign to this world and similar to you.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot more about relationships and the world we live in and stuff like that. It develops very deep.
Yeah. Here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you describe it, Jason?
I guess similarly to the way Dillon described it, I think it really depends on who you ask, because there's like three like main performances, so like you can approach it from like whatever. Like Cliff is definitely like the lead and like the audience surrogate, but like I don't know, I feel like some people will come and like really connect to Schneider and Schultz, and some people will really connect with like Terry's character, and like even just like stuff like Dakota's character, you know what I mean? Like there's really like a lot going on. It's political, it's sexual, it's funny, and it's very well written, I don't know, I just think it kind of has something for everyone, but it also like pushes theater for everyone. So I don't know,
definitely, I would say it definitely entertains. There's so many aspects where it's just as a musical that entertains you. It enlightens everyone, but also it definitely makes people think, and it makes people kind of remind themselves.
Pulls a lot of tricks on you, for sure.
Yes.
It makes you think a lot, for sure. It makes you think it's going in certain directions, and then maybe it goes 3 feet to the left, like
it pulls the curtain and you're like, whoa, I didn't even think that aspect would happen. Some of your fellow cast members, Amber says, both of them are so good. I love that. I love that. Andrew Hawkins says, the cast is amazing and so amazing. I can't say this enough. You need to see this. Carla Fristo there. Hello, fellas. I've missed you. Cannot wait to share the story with more audiences this weekend.
Agreed.
So true. So true. We do have some sneak peeks pictures from our photographer, Miss Griselda. You talked about, of course, some supporting characters there of Herr Schultz and Fräulein Schneider there, and a great moment there with them.
How sweet.
And then, sorry, I was like, oh no, did I freeze? I thought I froze for a split second. I think maybe Jason, I thought you might have frozen. What did you say again, Jason?
I was just praising Jacob and Joe, basically.
Yeah.
Saying that they're so good.
Amazing.
They are, and that's such a good moment there. We won't say what's in the bag, but there's just a great moment where they provide some comedic relief for the audience as well, and just where you root for them. You're rooting for them and their story, which I think is great. Here we have a great picture, of course, of the Sally Bowles with some of the Kit Kat Club performers there, which is, of course, Terry Martin playing Sally Bowles. Let's see what else. There's another photo there of how the Kit Kat, I mean, they're pretty much as out there as possible. They've done a phenomenal job, of course, with all of the dance rehearsals. We should mention Sean Walsh, of course, with all of his fantastic choreography. Mitchell says, I just got my tickets for the 26th. I'm ecstatic. So glad you're going to get to see the show, Mitchell. Chris Miller says, amazing run, perfect cast. Can't wait for the experience Saturday. Exactly, Chris, which we need to talk about. Yeah, I was saying.
Twice.
Right, yes. We should mention that tomorrow night and Saturday night, we have what's called the Cabaret Experience. It's going to be an absolute amazing event here at ALT, starting at 6:30 before the show. It is already sold out with wait lists, but our patrons who are coming should have gotten an email from our box office letting them know of the exact entrance, the exact password that needs to be used in order to come in. The venue has been transformed. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. There's a jazz band, there's an aerialist, there's food, there's going to be magic, there's going to be so many cool events and things happening before the show, just kind of immerse you into the experience of Cabaret. And then you get to see the phenomenal production, and it's going to be great. Again, Cabaret Experience sold out, but we're excited to have those patrons this coming weekend for an amazing event. Also, of course, we have, we should say there's Jonathan Mobley as Ernst in the production there with Dillon and Terry playing Cliff and Sally. Man, there's some scenes where you're like, oh, I thought I knew somebody, and then some other things happen, and nope, you didn't know him like you thought you knew him.
To be fair, there's like 5 scenes where that happens. So like,
I was gonna say true. It's like wait, oh, never mind. Oh wait, never mind about you either. Yeah,
so it's not
agreed.
a spoiler.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Every turn of the corner, bam. Jason, this I think is one of the most powerful moments on the stage as well. Is a great scene. I won't give anything away, but there's a great moment with you and Sally. That's just such a breathtaking moment, I think, and just so powerful. And then, of course, you mentioned you have some fun, just entertaining numbers, in which includes 2 ladies, which is just a fantastic, hilarious number as well. There's a sneak peek of that for our audiences that are watching. But I'm telling you guys, if you do not have your tickets already, pause this stream real quick. Just be like, I'll come back to Thursdays at 3. Call our box office for those shows Friday the 25th or Saturday the 26th at 8 p.m. Again, 355-9991, or visit our website. You can get those tickets online as well, because those tickets are going to go fast. Our wait list, all of the people that were on the wait list for every production got called and let them know about these 2 performances to hopefully they can get on into those shows. So it's selling very, very quickly. Amber says, what about Cost? Cost is phenomenal as well. I don't have a picture of Cost. I'm so sorry. More tears. And then she put okay. So true, Amber. I don't have a photo of Cost. I apologize. These are only the sneak peeks that I have. But yes, Fraulein Cost, she has her own story and her own way of dealing with things as well. So definitely an amazing performance and vocals from Amber there. This is another fun number. I think this is Money, kind of a great musical number as well, if you will. with Jason and all the Kit Kat Club performers there as well. And those of you who may not know, the Adventure Space has basically been transformed into this club, this Kit Kat Club, with tables and there's phones and lamps and some really cool aspects of how Alan has kind of directed this show, and kind of using of doors and spaces to come in and out of it. It's really, really, really cool. Have you guys, after opening this weekend, what has been some of the responses that you've heard or that you've gotten of family members that have come seen the show or friends that have come seen the show?
I've had a lot of people say that the set and the whole experience is very immersive with all the actors going throughout the audience and kind of interacting with everybody.
Yeah.
And I've heard it's powerful. That's probably the most common thing I've heard. It's just very powerful.
Sure. What have you heard, Jason?
Exact same. Like, people just had a very, very strong reaction to it.
Yeah,
basically.
We've gotten some great responses on Facebook. Some people have been just going, "Oh my gosh, the show," and that were bawling when they left the show, or different things like that. People have come back. We had a patron that saw Friday's show Friday or Saturday show, but then came back and saw it Sunday. And it's just like, we've had people who in 3 shows have already seen it twice, which is just speaks so much about the show as well.
I think it's a lot like Jason says. There's in my mind, there's 3 full leads, and you could go 3 separate times and watch it 3 different ways.
Completely, and follow the track. There's Alan Chinkles, our fearless, amazing director. Hello, Mr. Alan.
Hello.
Hi, Alan.
Trying to get out of here.
Poor Alan. I've like gotten every Thursday at 3. I'm like, sorry, I'm going live.
I also want to mention, if I can, that everyone I've talked to about the show has mentioned in detail how good both Dillon and Terry are. Like, talked in length about how good they are. So, like, yeah, like, it's a good show. Like, it's so well cast. Like,
the full cast is phenomenal. I mean,
the full
and let's
cast,
talk about that too. You guys, are part of this amazing cast that is led by the 3 of y'all, and it's a mixture of veterans. There's people that have been a part of shows for so many years. There's people who have been in a couple of shows and they're kind of dabbling a little bit more in musicals. But then we also have some people who are making their ALT debut who have never been a part of ALT before. And what a show to be thrown into, going, okay, welcome to ALT.
Exactly.
Let's have you go out on stage and not only, bear so much of yourself, but the show is a heavy show. It's such a deep show, and to just kind of be thrown into that for ALT. What's it like working with this cast?
It's a blast. Like, everyone is like super nice, super chill. Even when it gets stressful at times, everyone is like making each other feel good. Like, you mentioned like that it was someone's first show. Like, yeah, like I was talking to one of the people who is making their debut, and they were like, "Oh, well, when I first started, like, I didn't know how much I would be needed, and like I didn't feel like I was." And then, like, it's just the nature of doing a show. Like, as it progresses, it just intensifies. So like when we really need people, I think people like it set in, and everyone just like adapted, and everyone's been super like nice and chill. It's great. It's a great cast.
Yeah, I mean, this has been one of the most hardworking casts that I've ever been a part of. I mean, as a lead, I don't have any dance roles or any singing roles, but I have all the line work. But to see every Kit Kat girl, every person, even set members, working just as hard as me to make sure the show is perfect, it really is encouraging. And it's nice that the whole cast has your back when you go out there.
Yeah. One of our board members in ALT Warriors there, Donna Sims, says, you're talking about me, because she's had the privilege. She went both Friday and Sunday. And I saw her yesterday, and she was like, how do they do it? They have regular jobs. They've been rehearsing this for so long, and now they're doing 9 performances, 8 performances, and then they were adding performances. And it's like, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to ask of our volunteers who do not get paid, who do this because they love ALT and they love performing and they love this story. So it's definitely a lot of goodwill that you guys are not only volunteering your time and being a part of the show, but then for us to say, hey, we're sold out, we want to extend it. You want to go another weekend? Yay! And a lot of times too, some of our amazing volunteers just couldn't make it work. They were like, we I have a trip or I'm out of town or this and that, and totally understandable. But as best as we can, we'll be putting on that 4th weekend of shows, which will be great. Jason, remind me, is this your first time to perform at the Adventure Space?
This is my Adventure Space debut on stage. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so different. I feel like, from the main stage to the Adventure Space, because the audience is right there. It's a whole different kind of beast. And with you, gosh, you get to go everywhere and anywhere. And so, the rules don't apply to your character really, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great,
And then,
especially compared to the main stage. Like, yeah, it's so much more intimate.
Because Jason, what was your first show with ALT?
It was Sweeney,
right?
Todd. It was Sweeney.
That
was my first.
It's so funny.
That was my first show on stage, though. I did stuff backstage when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Like I was Millie and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
That's right.
And I worked on all of those. But yeah,
because that's what I was thinking. I was like, you've been around ALT for so long, but then I was like, wait, is that his first on-stage show with Sweeney? Because it just feels like that was wrong, because you've been a part of ALT since then, before that. So that was throwing me off. But I
think.
Yeah. And then Dillon, of course, your first show with ALT was at the Adventure Space in Rock of Ages. What was that now? 2 years?
2 years ago, yeah.
2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. Right before the pandemic. We were like, whew, we barely missed it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you did the Humans, and then once over here on the main stage. But you kind of now have done several shows over at the Adventure Space.
Yeah, that's like
what's
my go-to.
Bye.
Station
3.
Hello.
So for both of you who have now been in both spaces, is there one space that you prefer over the other?
I mean, I guess I kind of prefer the Adventure Space just because I've done 3-to-1 shows there, so I just know it better. But I mean, the main stage, it wasn't a bad performance area or anything,
You're not trashing it or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Adventure Space like just as much as the main stage. I think it just depends on the piece, honestly. Like Sweeney was perfect for the main stage, and Cabaret is perfect for the Adventure Space. So
yeah, it's so fun finding the piece of theater that fits the performance space, and it just kind of matches up so well. Now, were both of you, obviously, I'm sure you were somewhat familiar with the show before you auditioned. Has this always been a show that you've been like, oh, that's a show I would love to, throw my hat in, or was it just like sometimes when people audition for shows, it's like, oh, this is a good time slot for me, so I'm going to audition, whatever show might be, or this and that. What made you guys want to audition for the show?
Well, funny story. I was going to audition for Murder on the Orient Express because my mom wanted to do a show together this year. So we had talked about that for so
horrible
long.
Director. What did
and I was
thinking?
Like, who knows if I'm even going to get in that. So I didn't really even think about Cabaret. Obviously, I know the show. And then I didn't get into Murder. So I was like, I guess I'll do Cabaret. It's turned out really well.
Look at what the world that would have changed had a cast list gone different ways. And a handful of people, there was a handful of people that are in Cabaret that auditioned, for Murder, that it just didn't happen for them. The puzzle didn't fit with their name on the list. But how cool that we were able to still have this great show of Murder and this great show of Cabaret with so much of our talent in talent pool of people, which has been so great. Yeah, really. I mean, and 2 completely different shows, you know what I mean? And showcasing different aspects of our theater. What about you, Jason?
Well, it was actually the exact opposite for me because I hadn't done any theater. And of course, I was like, oh, ALT's doing Cabaret. Like, that would be awesome. So I just kind of got really into the show on a whim. Like, of course, I knew it and I was familiar with it, but I just kind of got into the show and started looking at different versions of it and stuff, and then I just auditioned and thankfully got a really, really significant role. It's been a blast playing it for sure, and it's just re-sparked my passion for theater tenfold. I can't wait to just keep trying to do stuff, just whether it's in Amarillo or wherever, so it's been great.
That's awesome.
It's been great being back on stage.
Good. We love having you back. It's awesome. Dillon, of course, ALT did this show 20 years ago, and not everyone can talk to that person who did the show 20 years ago, but the guy who played Cliff is Bobby Schaefer, who you did
Yeah.
once with. He's in the band for Cabaret. Have you guys had any conversations about, like, is there like a cool Cliff Club that we don't know about, and like only you
No,
two
not
like can
really.
go? Like,
I mean, I did tell him, I said, hey, Bobby, I think I'm going to be doing any of your roles for the next 20 years that AOT read to us.
right. That's
So,
hilarious.
yeah, but no, I mean, we talked about it. It's just funny.
Yeah, at some point we need to get a photo of y'all of before, like a before and then, or like a 20 years ago post or something,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
and do the comparison photos and stuff like that. Of course, you guys are working so hard with this show, and it's such a unique space where the audiences are so close and different things like that. Is there anything now that the show is open that you weren't expecting? Maybe with audiences being so close. I mean, you guys didn't really get to have your preview performance because of course the snow, and so opening night was the first time to have an audience fully there. But I mean, you guys have tables that are right by the stage, interaction with in and out of the audience, especially for you, Jason. But is there anything that maybe occurred that you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that? Or for us, when we did Murder on the Orient Express, our first night, we forgot we were a comedy until the audience laughed, and we were like, oh yeah, I guess this is funny, because we had just been rehearsing so long that those things weren't funny anymore. And so is anything like that happen for you guys once the show opened?
I mean, I've definitely had some lines like that are humorous, I guess, that I would have thought were humorous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, great. People are digging it. I like that. Okay.
Nice. Anything for you, Jason?
Can you repeat the question? You've been skipping for like
no
the
yeah
past-
no worries. Probably internet is probably bouncing back and forth. I was saying, once you guys have opened the show, is there anything that surprised you that you weren't expecting? With Murder on the Orient Express, we forgot we were a comedy until we had an audience, and then we were like, oh yeah, some of our stuff's actually funny. Was there, with the tables being so close to the stage and your interaction with the audience, is there anything that was a surprise to you once you guys opened?
Well, without giving too much away at all, just the audience's reaction leaving the theater.
True. Very
is unique to any show I've ever done. That's
agreed.
Yeah.
Yes. I open those doors and I feel like I should be like hugging, or I don't know what to do. It's just like, welcome back to reality.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Drive safe, and
it's sobering. It's a very sobering experience.
Yeah, 100%. One of your fellow cast members, Jonathan Mobley, says, I hardly ever get to Buffalo.
Yeah, that's something that I think Jonathan is doing really well, is playing up that German, like foreigner English to German barrier. He's landing those jokes amazingly, especially with the audience. I think when he hears that laughter, he's like, oh yeah, I know how to say that line.
Jonathan does really well with those one-liners, man, for sure. Another fellow cast member of yours, Tiffany Lauer, says sobering is a good word to describe it. It's such a good word. That's so true about just that kind of end moments of the show. Completely agreed. We of course want to mention that this phenomenal show is directed by Alan Shankles, music direction of course by Miss Jennifer Akins, choreography by Sean Walsh. AD on the show, Ann Langford, production assistant Carla Fristo, assistant choreographer Lissa Guerin, who's also kind of the Kit Kat Club swing, and she'll be going into the show for the 4th weekend, which is exciting. And then amazing costumes by Dakota Warren and Kalina Knight. Everyone has done just so much work on this show to get it where it was. The set design was Tana Robertson, with Alan, of course, helping with that. Lighting designed by Greg Dunlap. And then our board, Sean has been helping as well, Crystal Burns and Donna Sims, and our full board that's been working on the Cabaret experience. You guys haven't been able to go to the theater, you've been off a couple days, so I can't wait for the cast to come into the theater, because it's going to look a little bit different. The spaces where you guys are backstage and stuff like that are going to look a little bit different, getting ready for the experience tomorrow night. But when you list all those people, man, it really makes you think. Especially like when we emailed everyone involved in the show saying, these are our options to add shows, what can you do? And that list is like 50 people. When you think about how many people it involves just to get a show up and running every night, it's just mind-blowing. And it's all people who love ALT and love performing, and we're so blessed and thankful for those volunteers. for you guys, with us having a fourth weekend, of course, it's going to be history making for ALT. ALT's only done 3 weekend runs and packed in a ton of shows in those 3 weekends. This show will be the first show, I believe, to have 4 weekends. How does that feel? Like, I feel like the Cabaret cast is all going to walk around ALT a little bit taller now because they're like, oh, you performed at 3 weekends? Like, oh, like, I feel like there's a magic pin or something that we have to have like a pinning ceremony for all of y'all for a 4 weekend. But how does that feel to know that you're going to be a part of ALT history?
I think it's really cool. I mean, I didn't even think it was a possibility when we started the show, just because there was already 3 weekends, and
Yeah.
so for there to be a 4th weekend it's a blessing for sure.
Yeah. What do you think, Jason, about a 4th weekend? ALT history making.
I think it's always cool to be a part of anything that is history making. So
Yeah.
especially with this show, just the more people that can see it, the better.
Yeah, agreed. And we should say, because a lot of people are like, wait, why is it working out this way for this one? We were talking before we went live, with our main stage show. We normally have a March main stage show, but because of PatsyCon happening in July, kind of bumped all of our main stage shows earlier. And so we have a little bit of a kind of a pocket, if you will, before Tuck Everlasting opens. And that kind of opened the door. It kind of was perfect. The stars aligned and was like, wait, we could do a 4th weekend. Oh my gosh, are we saying this out loud? Are we going to offer a 4th weekend and see if it works? And it did. So we're really excited about that. Your fellow cast member here, Terry Martin, says, I adore you both and am so lucky to be in this show with y'all. Very
Same. For sure.
Jason's writing ditto, send. I love that. Both of you have such distinct characters. Both of you have such different characters. How do you guys go about when you develop your characters, especially with this show?
Well, I mean, I think with this show, I needed some direction. I've gotten a lot of help from Alan and from people just giving me notes, because it's kind of hard to play an American amongst a cast of characters.
Sure.
You can get washed out. So I think just focusing on almost making it an over American character is how I kind of think of it, and kind of focus in on those kind of aspects.
Sure. Yeah. Especially also the time period. You know what I mean? Like it's another show randomly. We've done a lot this season, set in this time period, which is, man, with Sound of Music and Murder on the Orient Express, all of them, of course, dealing with different issues. But what about you, Jason? How did you go about creating the MC?
Well, I wanted him to be a lot of things, but I don't know. Like I just kind of had to see what worked and what didn't work and just build it. Like there were times where I felt like it was too like showy, so I felt like but then there were times where I felt like it wasn't like strong enough, so I just kind of looked at actual MCs from that era along with people who had played the role and just like found little mannerisms that I liked and also just added my own little personal things. So I don't know, it's a cocktail of a lot of things. Me and just random thoughts and gestures from other people, basically.
It's a good thing you're a bartender because you mix that drink very well, sir. Very, very
exactly.
well.
That aspect down. The interaction. Yeah. The dry wit.
Oh, Dillon, Amber says, are you saying Americans don't have substance?
Yes.
Amber's going to be a little harsh on you in some scenes tonight, I feel like.
I think Amber's already a little harsh on me. So.
Yeah. I love it. For both of you guys, Jason, especially with you, with maybe a musical number or a moment on stage. Dillon, there might be just a great scene that you like. But I want to find out from both of you, again, try not to give anything away, but like Jason, do you have a favorite musical number in the show that you're just like, oh, I love this number?
I'm going to do one that I'm not a part of first because that's only fair.
Very kind of you.
I could literally name every number in this show, but I really love Don't Tell Mama. Like, I don't know. There's just something about that song. There's something about the energy in the theater when that song happens. It's special. It's
Yeah.
nice. It's at the beginning of the show. It's a nice little like. It's just unexpected and it's cute and it's coy. It's great. My favorite song that I do is probably "If You Could See Her."
Yeah.
I just love that song. I love the purpose it serves in the show. I love where it's at. Catherine Hodges, my like co-dancer during that, is
Yeah.
incredible.
Mhm.
It's just like I always look forward to doing that one every night. I mean, I look forward to doing the whole show every night. Like opening the show is like
Yeah.
an insane like feeling. Like every time the show starts, it's just like, all right, let's go. But yeah, those are my favorite. Those are two of my favorite moments. But
I
the
love
whole
that.
show, really is just
Yeah.
top to bottom great.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Dylan, for you, is there a moment or a scene that you're just like, oh, this is such a cool moment?
I mean, I really like when Jason and Terry sing "I Don't Care Much," just because
Yeah.
that song is so powerful in that moment, and I think it's staged really well. And they both just to be able to hear both of them just kind of sing their heart out in such a bare moment is really, really awesome. I really like the end of the first act. Just I'm not a huge part of it, but just being able to be on stage while all of that's happening and to feel that kind of shift and to feel all of those different emotions
Yeah.
and to see how all these different characters react is just kind of a big moment in the show to me. You know?
Yeah. Cool. I love that. Now when I watch it again, I want to be like, oh, this is their favorite moment. A little like a director's cut of a show. I love that. With you guys having done so many different things with the show, what were some of the challenges would you say that you maybe weren't expecting with this show or to develop these characters? Were there any challenges that came along the way that you were like, oh, okay, I gotta figure this out?
Yeah, I'm straight up not a dancer. I'll say it. Like when I got this part, I was so happy, but I was like, I'm ready to like work my tail off, because like, yeah, and like I'm really like shout out to Sean because like I love him so much because he never took it like way too easy on me, but he was always like patient with me and just like I don't know, like the choreography's great. He did a really good job.
I love that. Yeah, yeah. There's always a somebody, I can't remember who quoted this, but it's like a good choreographer is making somebody look like they can dance when they can't. You know what I mean? It's like
That's
smoke
exactly
and
what he did
mirrors
with him.
sometimes.
Like straight up. Like I mean,
love
there's
it.
probably moments where you can notice. A little
No,
bit,
stop, Les.
but
You are
no, it's
you
part
need
of
to
the
give yourself
character.
more credit. You dance very, very well,
Hold on,
sir.
I'm
Very well.
gonna let someone in real quick.
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
Go for a spot.
Dylan, what about you?
I mean, I think it was kind of, I didn't really think about how at the beginning I wouldn't necessarily be a part of the musical and the dance rehearsals. So I was like, I have to do a lot of work on my own. I
Yeah.
have to do these lines. I have to learn because they're working. I'm not going to show up and not know my stuff,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was definitely an unexpected challenge to kind of have to, but it was also nice because I got to do individual character study and character work and, develop my character by myself too. So.
Sure. It's rare for somebody to be in a musical and not get to dance or sing that much and especially with a big part like that. So, Cliff is definitely a unique role when it comes to the musical theater canon of roles. Both of you have done, of course, plays, both of you have done musicals. Do you guys prefer either of them, either a play or musical more so than the other?
I prefer musical just because I like to sing.
Yeah.
I would just rather be singing.
Yeah.
So.
What about you, Jason?
Are you asking if I prefer the musical or the movie? Is that what
No,
you're
no, no.
asking?
Do you prefer musicals or plays? Like as a performer yourself?
Probably. I mean, I have to say plays because I've written plays. So
Yeah.
like,
Well, and I was gonna say, do you prefer
musicals? I'd love to direct musicals. So like it's hard.
Yeah.
I have to say plays, but
now that with being a playwright, do you prefer performing now or do you prefer writing a play?
I don't know. Like I'm not doing a great job performing. I'll say that right now, and I haven't finished a script in a couple of years. So maybe right now I need to be performing, but I'm hoping I can, at least by the end of this year, I'd like to finish another script for sure.
Yeah. Well, you're talented at all of the above, my friend. Last question for both of you. You know, as everyone is coming to see the show, we of course want to remind everyone who's coming to watch Cabaret. Of course, it is rated R. There's some heavy, you know, language and adult themes and some violence in the show. So we want to make sure people are aware of that before they come see the show. What are you hoping those people who are lucky enough to have tickets? What are you hoping they leave the theater with? You know, what are you hoping they get out of this show once they leave ALT?
I mean, honestly, I would hope that people would maybe take a look at their lives, take a look at themselves, and just kind of consider what they've seen and how their life compares, you know,
Yeah.
and just maybe learn from it, you know, because it's there. A lot of plays are meant to just be, you know, oh, this is fun, it's a musical, you know, but I really think this is meant to educate.
Yeah, very true. Jason, what are you hoping audiences take away from the show?
Do not be complicit in things that are not right.
That you couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. It's good, and it's a good reminder for sure. Well, if you are hoping to come see these two phenomenal performers in Cabaret, we want to remind you that the show starts back up tonight at 7:30. We have the Cabaret Experience the next two nights, the Friday the 11th and 12th, and then of course we close out this weekend on Sunday at 2:30. Then we have the next week of performances again, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then those added performances on Friday, February 25th and Saturday 26th at 8 p.m. If for some reason you cannot make, let's say you're out of town that fourth weekend when we've added shows and you're like, man, I wish I could still come see the show. Maybe you're on a wait list and you're still waiting. Our best advice is to show up 1 hour before the show begins. So like for tonight, it would be 6:30 since the show starts at 7:30. Come to the ALT Adventure Space box office located at 2751 Civic Circle. That's where the show will be taking place, and get on what's called the standby list. We start that list at an hour before every show. Then if any tickets get turned back in, sometimes patrons will have, you know, a party of 6 people and they only brought 5 and they let us know at the box office. We can then hopefully get some more people from that standby list in. Also, if you do have tickets, or let's say you have a big group of people coming and some of them can't come, let the box office know. We have wait lists on all of our performances of people waiting to get tickets. Even let us know at the box office if you're like, man, we had a couple, you know, that couldn't come, so we have 2 less tickets that we're going to use. Turn those back into the box office. We can get people in off that standby list. So we want to get as many people in to see Jason and Dillon and all the talented performers of this show. I know you guys are super, super busy. I appreciate you both being not only a part of Thursdays at 3, but of course also being a part of this fantastic show. Oh yeah, this is my sister-in-law April, who I texted immediately whenever we knew that we were going to add a show. She says she can't wait to see it. They're going to come the 4th weekend. Very excited that my family's going to get to come see this show. Matt Green, one of our ALT warriors, says I'll be there tonight. Can't wait. Love it, love it. All right, Jason, Dillon, I know you guys got to get a lot more things done before you come up to the show tonight. We'll see you at Cabaret. Everyone else, tune in next week. We'll have some more cast members of Cabaret talking about this phenomenal show. If we get to see you this weekend, we can't wait. Can't wait to see you all dolled up and dressed up for the Cabaret experience and all those great things. Keep your eye out. Don't forget, art auditions are on Tuesday, Wednesday, Valentine's Day, Monday. We will have more information about Shrek auditions coming up. If you have classes today at the Academy, don't forget they're over at the main stage. And we'll see you guys hopefully at the Cabaret. Thanks again, Jason and Dillon. I appreciate you both.
Yeah,
We'll see y'all later. Yeah.
Bye.